Alright, so the 56 started making some valve noise. It's kind of been making valve noise since I got it. So I'm pretty sure the rockers aren't getting any oil. I already took apart the rocker assembly, cleaned it up. It was very gunked up. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can clean out what's probably a plugged oil gallery. Of course, gonna drop it. Take this valve cover off a couple times. Haven't dropped it. Any of these. Now I'm gonna drop all of them because there's a camera. This one doesn't have the little spreader. Okay. Alright, so these are the rockers. Knock my little screwdriver off. Now, if they look wet, it's because I took the valve cover off, put some oil on there, just to see if it quieted them down a bit, and it did a little bit, but you can definitely see where the push rods connect to the lifters are pretty dry. So we'll go ahead and check this running and see if there's any oil dripping out of anywhere to show if there's any oil getting to these things at all. So yeah, there's no oil. There should be some oil dripping out somewhere, but we're not getting anything. So we'll go ahead and take off the lifter cover and clean out some oil gallery. Alright, so there are a couple bolts all the way in the back that are pretty hard to get off. We can use a normal wrench for that. That should be all of them. Or did I miss one? I think I might have missed one. Oh, yeah, this one right there too. Right between the dipstick and the distributor. There we go. Okay. This one is kind of a pain in the butt to get out. I have to pull a couple of spark plugs, wires. Here, pulling off spark plug wires. Pull them off by the boot, not by the wire. It's a good way to rip it all apart. Let's see it here. How did I get this out last time? I just have to... That's all stuck in there. I don't want to remove the coil, but I might have to. Nice brand new ignition system on here. With the exception of the worn out valvetrain, the engine runs really smooth. Let's see if I can get this out without completely taking off the coil. It's kind of a pain in the butt to take off the wires. Let's get Come on now. There we go. Good enough for science. That one is dirty. Delicioso. Alright. So let me clean up my hands a little bit here so I can grab the camera. Alright, so what we're looking at, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but inside here we've got, can I just take off? Nah, whatever. Anyway, so inside here we've got the lifters that run on the camshaft, the push rods that come all the way through to the rockers. And inside here we have this little oil line. Now this oil line runs to the back, which is so dark I can barely see it in person. Yeah, with everything it's not hard to see. But there's this oil line back here that runs all the way back to the rear camshaft. Gets its oil from there. The oil comes all the way in, comes in here through the head into, oh, not that, this right here. And this oil comes all the way through here. There's a little hole in here, and then it feeds into these rocker shafts. The excess oil comes through here. It's pinched off to reduce the amount of oil that comes through, and just goes right, drains into the head to drain eventually down into the engine block. So I'm going to try to remove this oil line and clean it all out. Try to clean out the little passage that comes from here into here, this little plug here. It looks like it follows with this head bolt. So yeah, we'll go and continue on. So what I'm gonna, my plan is to pull out that oil line that runs right next to all the lifters, clean it all out, and then while I have it out, clean out this oil gallery here. Anyway, so the goal is to clean out this oil line here, try to clean out where it comes through here. I might have to remove this head bolt. I'll probably just remove that one if I have to, simply because I don't want to pull the head, because I don't want to replace the head gasket. And then try to clean out everything. I already cleaned out everything up here, so let's just try to clean out everything that's down there. Alright, so this is the oil line. So this goes all the way to the back of the head, comes out, the oil comes out of the rear camshaft journal. The oil flows through here and then goes into the cylinder head, or into the block where it goes up through the head and into that lifter valley. So looks like there's a lot of oil here, so it looks like we're getting oil to here, which is good, because clearing, if the oil's clogged before this point, that means it's in the cylinder block, in the journals, and I don't want to pull the engine and clean all that out. So this is really nice and oily, which is a good thing, meaning the plug should be after here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off and then blow through it and see if this is where the plug is, because if it is, then we're in business. Now, in case you're curious as to why this might be plugged, that is because in the olden days, before detergent oil, if there are contaminants in the oil, it just created sludge, and that plugs stuff up. And it's a common issue with these engines, the straight sixes, is this get plugged, ruins the valve train. Okay, looks like this isn't very plugged. I'm going to clean it out anyway, but it looks like it's definitely cleared out. So we'll go ahead and start flushing out everything beyond this point, and I'll flush this out as well and clean it all up. Oh, this is actually running out. Yeah. Alright, so then back to the engine bay. Alright, so definitely unplugged that line a little bit. It did have some buildup in there, so I blew some brake clean through it. Should be cleared out. So next, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pull this entire valve train again. I already done it once. I have this whole side panel off, so it makes it easy to line up the rockers. some of the lifters are missing the little retainer spring, which isn't that big of an issue. It just means I won't be able to really set the lifters perfect, but everything's so worn out it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go and pull this so I can have access to this oiler tube so I can kind of flush everything out through here. So I'm probably going to hook up that oil line to where it connects on the block, just so I can divert all that brake clean that I spray through everything out of the engine block, because I don't want it to go into the oil and mess things up. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. I've already done it once, so it shouldn't be too crazy. It's if I remember, it's 9/16, yep. And then I'll also go ahead and loosen all of the rocker arms. And out she comes. Hook fell off. Or maybe I just bumped a connecting rod, or a push rod. Yeah, I just bumped a push rod. Alright, so this is the exit plug of that little oil gallery. So, I'm going to go and grab the other thing. Alright, so here we are outside of the car again. Outside of the engine bay, rather. So, that little hole I showed you goes right into this thing. It comes right into the bottom here, and the oil, as you can see, there's a little notch cut out inside of that little hole, and so the oil fills this little cavity. This goes right on the end of the rocker arm shaft, and that hole is a space right here between the two halves, and this is supposed to fill up with oil and then come through here and into little holes in the bottom of the shaft. And as you can see, even though I cleaned this out about a month ago, it's already kind of starting to fill up with gunk. So that means that there is some oil getting in here, just not enough. So I might end up actually cleaning all this up again. We'll see. It's, pretty. This one actually isn't very worn out at all. But as you see, it's getting some lubrication, but just not enough. So I'm going to try to see if I can find the plug. If I can't find anything, I'll clean this up again, and maybe that'll fix the problem, because it is kind of sludgy in there. So yeah, let's go ahead and blow everything out and carry on. Alright, so we are starting to lose a little daylight, so I'm probably gonna kind of wrap this up. Last thing we're gonna do is try to flush out this little oil gallery. So it comes right in, so that is a little brass fitting, kind of hard to see. That is where that line went into. And then it comes up, it comes through here, and then into this little hole that is hiding behind the push rod. Little hole right there, and that's what feeds into that little line that goes into the rockers. So I'm going to just try to spray some brake clean through here, and if we're lucky, that'll be clogged. If not, then the clog is either in the rocker arm shafts. As I mentioned, they are pretty gunked up. Not super gunked up like they were, but it might be plugged up just enough to restrict oil flow. Or the plug is before that oil line, which means that would require taking apart the engine, or just hoping it blows out at some point. I'm probably not going to be pulling the engine and doing that. These rockers are already really worn out as is, so I'll probably just drive it as is if the oil plug is down below. So let's go ahead and grab some brake clean. Now, instead of attaching the line like I planned, because it is kind of long and everything, I'm just going to use this little napkin to catch anything that comes down in here. This oil's got to be changed pretty soon anyway, because I changed the oil not that long ago, but the car's been sitting a long time. Alright, let's see what we got. So not as much is coming out as I'm spraying in, so it definitely seems like it's clogged a bit. Let's try to get as much of this out of here as possible. So we don't want to, pretty much just solve it into our oil. Alright, let's see. Yeah, maybe I'll have to find a pipe cleaner and run it through. So clean that a little better. Alright, got this little vacuum line. I should be able to shove it in there and plug it up. There we go. That'll just might work. Oh yeah, there's chunks coming out. Yeah, I kind of sprayed a bunch of chunks right all over the starter. Alright, well if we're lucky, I'm going to go ahead and do another brake clean spray through. If we're lucky, that fixes the problem. The new napkin. Let's take a look at what's coming through. Crisscross, the old. Yeah, stuff's kind of coming through a little better. Spraying up in here. Hopefully it won't cause too many issues. Like I said, it doesn't matter if this oil breaks down too much because I'm definitely not going to run it to 3,000 miles. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already clogged up with all the sludge. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that's cleared up nicely. Alright, well hopefully that did the trick. Now I'll probably clear those valves up too, so let's go ahead and the rockers rather. Let's go ahead and start doing that. Alright, I'm not really sure how well this is. I don't have a lot of bench space to set up a camera and everything. Didn't expect to be doing this part, but you know, that's how it goes. So, let's go ahead and grab those rockers. Yeah, the bench can be a little oily. Yeah. Oh, I might be able to set it on top of the toolbox here. Let's see. Professionalism. Hello there. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Let's see if I can just get it all the way. Nice. No, I don't want the image to flip. Alright. Hey, that actually doesn't look too bad. Alright, so this is one half of the rocker assembly. And it looks like it is gummed up just a bit. I'm actually going to grab my lantern, give it a little more light. I don't even know if I'm not even taking these things off on camera. This one is so worn out. You can see it's worn a little indent in here. You can see the line on the shaft of the line that's in here, because there's a groove. It's on the inside of this for this oil gallery, so the oil goes all the way around, and it's worn into the shaft. So unfortunately, you can't exactly find these things new. As I mentioned before, I might get lucky and find someone who's got a straight six that they don't want anymore. And yeah, in here there's a bunch of dried stuff from the oil running out. So yeah, that's taking apart one half of this. Yeah, and as you can see, so these big holes are just for the bolts. These little holes are for the rockers, and they are plugged. They don't go all the way through, but they are kind of plugged. Kind of looks like a flute. And then the oil comes in through there, and then this end is plugged. So that is taking this all apart. Go ahead and clean it up and put it all together tomorrow, because it's getting dark.